Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well this Monday morning. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and of course, make sure you go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. As always, guys, make sure you check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join it as well. Discount opportunities will be available there when we do launch, so make sure you check that out if you haven't done so already. But guys, welcome to another stream. William, hope you're well. Good morning. Hope you had a good weekend as well. Keris, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing good. So it's going to be an interesting week in the markets. As always, any markets you guys are looking at, feel free to let me know. But I'll quickly go through my watch list and kind of what I'm looking at. If you guys are not aware, if you weren't on the streams last week, I was tackling the yen pairs, most in particular pound yen, quite heavily. And I'm still currently holding a position over from last week. Hasn't really gone anywhere just yet, but it's still very early doors. I entered on the full hour on that massive bearish engulfing candle. A pretty wide stop loss, but I'm looking at a pretty big target as well. So the reward should suffice for the risk that is being taken. But the idea is looking for a big swing to the downside. Now, I've been very bearish on the yen pairs for a while, and as they've been pushing up, looking for the opportunity to sell them back down. I found an opportunity in pound yen, and they're pretty much all set up at the same time. Pound yen, euro yen, CAD yen, you name it, all these yen pairs had aggressive moves to the downside. And for me, I'm looking for them to return back to where they came from these heights. They've all come into some real critical areas. You can see double tops there, pound yen, literally the same thing as well. Swiss yen came back into that area, so they all did the same thing, and I'm expecting them to continue lower. So if you're an intraday trader, there could actually be some really nice opportunities on the yen pairs. Again, I'm not really too bold about that. I'm happy with the bigger stop loss and the bigger targets. But if you're looking to refine an entry and get smaller stop loss, bigger targets, intraday setups, there could be something really, really nice forming on some of these yen pairs. They're looking a little bit bullish this morning. And that could be a nice opportunity for some intraday pullbacks for some shorts some point this week. I think euro yen looks good, really nice move to the downside. We've got broken support here. That could look to be retested potentially, and then continuation. And something around this area here, it could be a really nice place to get a refined entry on the hourly, maybe even lower. And let's see if you can swing it back to the lows there, and you'll be looking at some really nice risk reward. And it's pretty much the same setup across the board for the different yen pairs. CAD yen looking for a similar correction and a continuation intraday. Retest of that structure there. Even pound yen, the one I'm trading, there's a nice low just above us over here, around 191.8. New Zealand yen, this one not as clear because this is kind of the area which would be a nice place for a break and retest. So, for example, let's see the market dropped. Then we've got the pullback, similar to what other yen pairs did. That would be a nice place for some entries. New Zealand yen kind of finding it hard. Aussie yen too, so maybe those not the best one. Dollar yen looks pretty good. On my weekly analysis, I mentioned a couple areas where sales could look good and retested this low. This is the last low we had before we had that big push, and then price went and broke through. So this is a nice area for a retest, as well as this low here as well. And then Swiss yen, not looking as good, but expecting some type of correction and a continuation as well. So very, very bearish on the yen pairs and looking for a lot more downside across the board. As I said, I'm not really too bothered about the refined intraday entries, but if that is what you're looking for, opportunities are definitely there. So I'm just going to see what happens with pound yen. I'm going to see what happens with that one until I get this one to break even and risk is removed. Then I'll look to see if I can add additional entries to pound yen or other yen pairs. In terms of the dollar pairs actually quite like. It's just I need to get some pullbacks on them. In particular, not Euro USD. This one's just way too corrective. I mean, I'm still very bullish on Euro. And for ages, I've been talking about a push back to the high here, which was so close to doing. I do think price is just going to go and hit that level probably at some point this week. But yeah, in terms of me looking to buy, and especially as a swing, now is not the best time to be looking to enter. I entered down here, really nice trade, just really unfortunate. I got wicked out, to be honest, with the Fed interest rate because my stop loss was trailed just underneath here. on another day, price doesn't hit the trail stop loss, and I'll still be in the trade at this moment in time. But unfortunately for me, it just got tagged out there, and price did push on. So for me to find another entry, I can't be looking to enter up here. Number one, the risk to reward doesn't really make too much sense because we're at resistance and the big target is just above us. Number two, in terms of the location, doesn't make sense to be swinging up high. I need price to push back down low or even to these areas before I look to tackle those swings. So very bullish on euro, expecting euro to break higher, not seeing a good opportunity for a buy, even intraday really. Don't really want to be buying the market now as we struggle at the high now. So even intraday doesn't look great. I have spoken about some breaking retest on this area here for the retest there, trying to catch the next high low, which kind of has worked. Price is rejecting that area, but it's been a tough move. We've pushed up, pushed down, pushed up, pushed down. So it'll be a difficult buy in the low time frames, but nonetheless, market has held that area and we are seeing some upside. So euro, I do expect to keep pushing. Pound USD, likewise, I expect this one to keep pushing. Pound USD, I like because the structure is really, really clear. You can see the market swings, very, very easily. You don't need to tilt your head or squint or anything. The market highs are so clear. So for me, I'm just looking for a retest of this high there for continuation. Literally the exact same setup as what we got the previous time. So as you can see there, break and retest, continuation, looking for that pattern to continue again, of course. Waiting for confirmations, waiting for signs that we are going to get some rejections in that area. Then I'll find my entry. But the idea is literally just an expectation that price would do what we did previously and continue the trend. Very, very bearish on USD. Still looking for a push into the low. I'm kind of hoping dollar will go for a bit of a pullback, something like this, and then push down. Even if it does go and take out the low, push back, because I do have a very, very long term bearish bias for USD, more so on the monthly chart, because we've got a massive ranging market here on the monthly, and to me this looks like a big fake out. So I'm actually expecting excuse me, I'm actually expecting dollar to do something like that in the, I was going to say near future, but it isn't really near, is it? We've got 2026 over here, so that could take a while. So I'm not really looking to trade that bias per se, but of course in the back of my mind I know that this is a very high potential move dollar could do. So I'm long term very bearish. I think we're going to just see a trend to the downside like we saw over here in 2022. I feel like we might see something similar on the way down as well. So geared up for that move. But in the meantime, this is the next major low, and looks like price is slowly trying to get there. So I'm hoping we can go through some type of correction at some point, get the pullbacks on pound I'm after, get the pullbacks on euro I'm after, get the pullbacks on NZD USD I'm after as well. Because although I'm pretty bullish on this one, again, now's not the time to buy it as we do approach the high here. If anything, I can be looking at some shorts for NZD USD. I'm not interested in shorts, but this is definitely not a bad time to be looking to sell back at that swing high, massive move to the downside. You don't necessarily have to look for such a big move, but it's an area where we could see a big move to the downside. So shorts look promising from that area, but I'm just expecting it to react and just have a retracement and for price to continue. This is our previous swing low, and this is the move that created our high. So as long as price stays above this low here, for me, I'll be bullish in NZD USD, looking for a higher low somewhere, preferably on the retest of that low, that high, and then see if I can take this to the upside. I do have some higher time frame targets, which is more or less around this area, around 0.65 area. So a lot more upside for USD, expecting push to 0.65. So I do think this level will break eventually, but I'm just hoping to get a pullback first, which is why I'm hoping the DXY does push up so I can find those opportunities. And also Aussie dollar, which is very similar to NZD USD. In fact, this one's actually been breaking through resistance, whereas NZD USD is actually still kind of respecting the level. So yeah, NZD USD is still testing that area. So that probably makes NZD USD the better sell. But Aussie dollar, yeah, it's taking up those highs. So for Aussie dollar, similar situation with New Zealand dollar. We've got the price swing low here, which gave us the high. So as long as price doesn't break through that low, expecting upside, so we can pull back all the way to that area, and I'll still be looking to buy. So yeah, if I can get a retest of the high here, that will be my preferred setup. There's some areas here on the left which we'll discuss, but yeah, not much to say right now because price is nowhere near there. We just look at the high here, which is a nice retest down the 4 hour, something like that, and then some buys. So yeah, I'm really liking that USD opportunity. Just need to see some strength come into the market for me to actually find those buys. If not, then they'll probably just keep pushing slowly, and then your best bet is probably some intraday pullbacks because the swing pullback may or may not happen. That's the thing about the swings. They're great when they happen, but sometimes the market just wants to fly and doesn't give you an opportunity to pull back. And that could be the case here. There's a nice little level here on the hourly. That could be what we get this week if dollar just wants to keep falling, that is. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting. The USD pairs, of course, gold and silver. Yeah, not much of an update for those guys. Still very bullish. Maybe we're going through a deeper correction at this moment in time, but I'm expecting us to find our feet pretty quickly and push up again. I've marked out this area here as a nice place to look to buy from, so I would keep an eye on that. This is still my preferred 4-hour level to buy from as well. 25.89, but of course we're nowhere near that. So gold not really in my focus right now because it's not really trading near a level which I'd buy from. Silver, however, is a little bit more interesting because we've got such a big level on the daily. If that level can break, pullbacks, retests, buys after that look good, really, really good, because I think silver can really, really push on in the near future because all-time highs, which I expect price to eventually get to, is still very, very far away. So silver's got a lot of work to do to get there. So that's why I like the buys in this one. And even a retest of this level, I will consider buying. So silver, just looking for opportunities to go long. Same thing with gold. Just need it to pull back a lot more. And then another pair, which I do like, is Aussie CHF for some downside on the retest of the low there. That was on my weekly analysis for this week. What's up, Tom? Good afternoon. Hope you're well. So yeah, this is the bonus pair on my weekly analysis, which I was mentioning for the sells that retested this area here. Because again, you basically just got a ranging market on the left here, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and the market's kind of ranging back in that same area. So looking for a repeat of that pattern. And sells is not such a bad idea for Aussie CHF since the market has been bearish for a pretty long time. So looking for sells in these conditions is always a green flag. Of course, not anywhere, but if you can find a decent location for a short, good probability does play out. Of course, not 100%. That's why we manage our risk and put stop losses. But we're in a good direction here. So if we can get a reaction off that low, which is 0.586, nice wicks, bearish engulfing, things look good, turning points. I'll find an entry somewhere, stops above the high in the 4 hour, and look for a trade similar to this. And again, risk to reward looks pretty good if you can get a swing to the low of the range as well. So Aussie CHF I like. New Zealand CHF is a similar market, which has a nice level as well on the retest of that low. But Aussie CHF is a little bit cleaner and it's a little bit closer as well. So I won't have to wait as long. But we'll see. They're very similar pairs. So if they both want to fly, they'll fly. If they both want to fall, they'll fall. It's just about taking the better one, better risk reward, and trading that one rather, taking every single pair of the similar type because you're taking unnecessary risk for no reason. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. There's a couple cross pairs that do look interesting. For example, I do like NZD CAD, Pound CAD, and Aussie CAD. Maybe not so much Pound CAD anymore because it's kind of very bullish today and it's pushing back into that daily zone there. I was looking for the pullback and the retest of this area. Not too sure we'll get it. Maybe we will, but I might probably take some time. As in, I don't expect it to be this week. New Zealand CAD I do like. Really nice break of the high last week. And it looks like today it's just kind of continuing that. Aussie CAD, similar fashion as well. Really nice break of the high. Really nice momentum. So with both of them, I've got some higher time frame targets, which I expect price to go and hit, particularly in the weekly time frame. I'm looking for NZD CAD to push back into the high here, 0.87. Well, just above 0.87, closer probably to 0.88. But I'm looking for us to go and get to that level there as we maintain these higher highs and higher lows. So we had a lovely low down there, high over there, low, high, low. I'm looking for price to push back into the high over there. So with the break of the resistance, we just had this last week. Now that has left behind a fresh level to buy from on a retest, should we get it. And yeah, looking to take it again, at least back to the high. So let's say we pull back from here. That will be the most logical place I'll expect price to push into. If not, yeah, I mean, I would expect us to get there this week. Yeah, that's the long-term vision, but I'm not expecting us to make that move all in 1 week. That'll be a very, very bullish week for NZD-CAD, even with the retest at play. So yeah, NZD-CAD I do like. Aussie CAD looking for a similar move as well. If I scoot to the weekly chart, I'm looking for a push back into this weekly zone over here, not too far away. If price will be kind enough to pull back before we get there, that'll be very much appreciated. And again, looking to take some nice buys on the retest because I really like that breakout there. Really impulsive, really commanding break. So if you will get a pullback from that, chances are price is probably going to continue to the upside. So hopefully I can get some retest there. So in some of the crosses, I like Aussie CAD, I like NZD CAD, pound CAD, probably not so much anymore. That we're back at the high. Pound NZD, Euro, pound Aussie, they're okay, but they're lower down the pecking order in terms of opportunity. Because long term, I'm actually still pretty bearish on these guys. Pound Aussie, pound NZD, I do think longer term these boys are coming right down. So I'm not very motivated to take any buys. What's up, Pedro? Hope you are well. Welcome to the stream. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. It does really help out. So yeah, with pound NZD, pound Aussie, they're both coming to some nice areas for some buys. However, some longer term bearish bias that kind of plays in my mind a little bit. So yeah, I'm less likely to take a buy unless it looks really good in terms of the setup. Then I probably will leave them alone. But in terms of the technicals, it's not a bad area. Back to 2.09, I mentioned this in my weekly analysis. Sturdy resistance here could act as some really nice support for us to push. So that's a nice little level to look at. Pound Aussie, similar as well, as we can see. So not a bad area where we can bounce. We're still putting in these higher lows here too. So, you know, who knows? We could put a higher low and rock it. Same with pound and ZD. Still putting the higher lows in. So it's not a bad buy, which is why I like them in the first place. It's just my inner bias is pretty bearish. So I may skip those. But we'll see. It's not bad. It's not a bad opportunity. And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Salute back to you as well, Pedro. Salute back to you. Is anyone in any positions at the moment? For me, it's just with pound yen. But that's gonna take its time to get going. I mean, it's pretty much a daily time frame trade at this point with the size of the stop loss there. Of course, it was just with a big 4-hour candle, but no, it's definitely going to take its time to get going. But yeah, at the moment, that's the only position I'm in. I really like some of the other yen pairs, but I'm not gonna spread myself too thin with them. I'm in pound yen. We'll see how that one goes. If there's opportunities for additional trades, then great. I'll look to find some additionals. And yeah, hopefully I can get some pullbacks on some of these USD pairs. Dollar CHF and dollar CAD I don't like. There's only 2 USD pairs which not interested at all. They're not that bad. It's just the other pairs are a lot better. I can get a better read of them. They're trending a lot better as well. So other than that, not really interested. Okay, you're in a euro yen long. What's your targets for the trade? How long are you looking to? How far you can take that? Will only possible trade got my hand is pound USD. Okay, I like that. Laser focused, concentrated on the best market. I mean, that's the best way to do it. You look through your markets, whichever looks the best. That's the one you focus on. Of course, it's the waiting that's the hard bit, because most competent traders can analyze their markets and find a market which has good opportunity. But then some traders will go and deviate and go and take some silly trades in the meantime, um, and that's what kind of hurts them. So kind of waiting for the best opportunities, waiting for pound USD setup will get you the trade, and the hope that kills you as well, because sometimes you're waiting for the trade for a pullback and it doesn't pull back. Um, those just unfortunate times, unfortunately. But if it does pull back and does give you entry, you want to be there to take it. So kudos to you. I think I'm looking at similar pound USD setup. Okay, you're targeting 160 for liquidity. Whereabouts is 160? 160. Okay, so that's more or less just above the highs here. Yeah, I mean, I probably expect us to hit that pretty soon, to be honest. Really strong reaction there. We just about took out the high there. Price probably will push up and take out that area. I mean, earlier I was mentioning this level is a nice place for a short. So, of course, if price is going to get there for the short, then we will have to hit your 160 area as well. So, I like it. I mean, pretty realistic target, nothing too crazy. Have seen some nice interesting momentum there this morning. Probably will push to 160. I'm still pretty bearish on euro yen. I do think the bigger moves to the downside. So, if we were to push up, test this area, I think that's a great place for a short, at least intraday anyway, and see some downside from that level. So, yeah, I don't mind the longs at all. And that's the funny thing, you could be bearish and bullish in the same market. But, as I always say, if you're a buyer, if, say, for example, the market is trending up, buyers can make money in the continuation of the trend. Sellers make their money in the retracements of the trend. But the key thing is knowing and having the timing to wait for your time to enter. If you're a buyer and you're just buying at the top whilst the market's retracing, of course, you're going to lose money. And if you're a seller and you're selling when the market's about to continue the trend, you're going to lose money. But it's all about the timing. Both a buyer and a seller can make money in any market condition. You just have to respect the condition. And at the moment, it looks like euro yen is trying to find a low to push up, and that's where the buyers will make their money. And if the market does continue down, that's where the sellers step back in. You've got to know your timing, know your place, which of course is the difficult bit. And that's where your edge comes in. Okay, ready took half. Okay, nice. Congrats. Looking forward to the downside. Okay, nice. Looking for the sells as well. Really looking to play euro yen then. What's up, Holy One? Quick low trapping today. Okay, no worries, my man. Dollar CAD respect the 50, so I'm holding in a little drawdown. CAD was still strong. Yeah, okay. Yeah, USD CAD did push up a little bit higher than expected Friday. I'm still pretty bearish on dollar CAD, looking for more downside. I'm not the biggest fan of the pair, so it's not a market I'm looking to trade at the moment. But I'm pretty bearish on USD, so pairs like dollar CAD, I'm expecting it to fall. It's just about where does it fall from. This first area here didn't play ball. The market did go and break through that. I have drawn up a secondary just above us around here where we could come in respect and see some downside. Let me see where the 50 is. Oh, okay, so we're right bang on the 50 now. Are you talking about the 4-hour 50 or the hourly 50? Not too sure. Hourly 50, yeah, we definitely broke through the hourly 50, but 4-hour 4-hour 50, we are testing it. So if the market can respect that, that's not a bad place for a short. Me being me, I'm looking at my level of support and resistance for sell, so we could maybe push a little bit higher, tag that, then sell. But yeah, I'm pretty bearish on dollar CAD as well. I do expect to see some downside. But yeah, bit of a move up there. I think dollar was a little bit strong, but the CAD was pretty weak as well. So yeah, recipe for bullishness. But I do think it's all temporary, and dollar CAD will give us a nice sell at some point. most likely. Will JPY is channeling ranging. Really wish we get one direction again. Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. I mean, hopefully that one direction is to the downside for my sake. But yeah, I think the yen pairs are just taking a breather because let's be honest, they had such a huge drop in July. If I go back to the daily chart real quick, this is a huge drop in July. It kind of did all of this price action here, which was from December last year all the way to almost mid-July this year. So a good 6 months. And then that was all done in about a month. So the month downfall that we had erased 6 months of price pushing up. So it's such a heavy move. The market is going to find its feet and retrace, move sideways, waiting for its next breakout. Of course, according to my analysis, I'm pretty bearish. I'm expecting these guys to break lower, but I'm not expecting them just to burst out straight away. So we'll see how things develop. But I think that one direction will come pretty soon, and we'll get some really nice trends again. But yeah, the cleanest price action in the world. Blessing. Okay, we'll take a look at Euro USD. No problemo. Okay, bank holiday for CAD. Okay. So it might be a bit quiet then. Okay, correct. As long as the money for a hold the trade, if it breaks the 4 hour, okay, you're out. Fair enough. Fair enough. I like it. Systematic. So even though you don't have a hard stop loss for the trade, you still do have a pretty hard stop loss for the trade, which is if it breaks through the H450, you're out the trade. So even though it's not electronic based, there is still a stop loss to your trade, to your idea, which is what I like because you need that mechanism to say, okay, now I'm going to enter and now I'm going to exit. If it's kind of based on a emotion or kind of just in the moment thinking, that's where things can go downhill. Because when money's on the line, you don't really think rationally. Dollar CAD 1.36, at least that's what you're looking for. Is that, where is 1.36? Okay, you're looking for us to get back to that high there. Possibly, that could happen. I mean, it's a big daily level. Should we retest that? I think that's a great place to look to go short again, to be honest. As long as you can respect it and we don't break out of it, that would be a nice place to short again. Okay, no worries, my man. Have a good one. Catch you tomorrow. Take care. Okay, breaks are reanalyzed. Yeah, and again, you need that system in place, whether it's going to be electronic stop loss or moving average or whatever. You need that thing in place for entries and exits. Anyway, let me go through Euro USD before I forget. So, as I mentioned with Euro, not much to say with this one because I'm really bullish on Euro. I'm still looking for a pushback to 1.125, which is the high over here. We're not too far away from that area. I expect us probably hit it this week at some point. I find it difficult to look for some buying opportunities now for Euro that we're trading at the high here. Now's not the best time to buy, especially when the big level is just above us and we're at a level of resistance right now. I did mention last week some buys in the retest of this area, which in fairness have come into play quite nicely. It's been a choppy one, but it's held. In terms of Euro next, I kind of want to see price commit to the upside, break the high and then give me the next pullback and probably a retest of that level there. Then I look for some opportunities similar to what pound USD is giving us. I'll start to look for that in Euro. Otherwise, I need price to push all the way down here for me to look for any buys again, because the price action here is just way too choppy. It's really corrective, strong at the high. I wouldn't sell it. I wouldn't buy it unless we get a really strong move up, break and retest. We push back down to that low, find our feet, and then push on. So that's really how I'm looking at Euro. In terms of the direction, very bullish. Very bullish on Euro, very bearish on USD. So as long as I maintain that bearish bias, I'm expecting Euro to push up. I think longer term, there's a lot of room for Euro to push into. I'm looking at 1.14-ish. So I do think we'll break past the high, probably come into this area more so for euro. So I have a lot of bullish expectations for euro in the next few days, few weeks, maybe a couple of months. It's just about finding those opportunities. And right now, I'm not really seeing any. So breaking retest, yep, I'll entertain that. Or if you push back down to the low, I'll entertain that. Buying the market now doesn't make too much sense in my book because of where we're trading. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Euro USD. And again, in terms of the DXY, looking for this one to fall. Hopefully has that bigger pullback at some point, but we'll have to wait and see. But I do think we'll keep falling. Looks like we are clearing this level of support now, the DXY. So I think we'll just kind of continue like this. Not the best price action, but I do think we'll probably just keep slowly falling here. Let me know what you're looking at for Euro USD yourself. Are you bullish, bearish, or neutral? Laban, Euro JPY wait for sell. Yes, I like that. I'm pretty bearish on Euro Yen as well. Not so much looking to sell it because I'm already sitting in pound yen, so no point for me to jump into Euro Yen as well. But I do think Euro Yen has a lot of downside potential, and especially if you refine your entry on the intraday timeframes, you'll probably be looking at a really nice risk reward trade opportunity here. I've talked about the retest of this low here. This is kind of the last low we had with price bound support, pushed up, and then we had a big break to the downside. So you could see the market come back, retest that same low, and then continue to the downside. So yeah, I'm pretty bearish in euro. I think that's a nice play for a short. Whereabouts are you looking to find your entries? Let me know. If I was looking to get involved for euro yen, it would be around that 160, 750 mark. Your target's either back to the low, back to where we came from, or if you want to stretch trade a little bit further, you've of course got the lovely low there at 155, 500, which I think price can most likely get to. But we'll see. It's a pretty strong 4-hour close there, so I do think we'll push up. But again, I think that'll only be temporary for us to continue down. And we've pretty much got the same price action across the board with all these yen pairs. So yeah, expecting some temporary pullbacks because it makes sense. We had such a really big, bearish candle on the full hour on Friday. So I think it's only right we do see some pullbacks. But yeah, I think it's just going to be a pullback and the market's going to likely continue lower. How is the JPY basket looking? I haven't actually had a look at that. Okay, so we had a really nice bounce off that low and gave us a really strong daily candle close, which of course lines up to what the yen pairs did. So yeah, I'll be looking for us to come back into the high here at 7,100. Also got major resistance at this area here. So of course, price support, resistance. That's kind of where I do expect us to push into. So if I drop to the 4-hour, yeah, I could probably see a retest of this area and then a continuation. But yeah, really nice reaction off that low. Probably push back into that area over there. And then we'll see what the yen basket has in store. If you get the break of this area, then that's when I think, yeah, the buys are really in play. And then I just expect a bit of a bullish trend to form. And of course, that'll mean that the yen pairs do fall. But yeah, really nice reaction off that low. How's the index looking? Okay, so we did react off that area there. Might see a move into there. Big head and shoulders in the sell. So yeah, it does look like the yen could see some downside, but probably some upside first. So yen pairs probably will continue that pullback, which could give some nice opportunities for euro on some shorts or any other yen pair really. And then, yeah, expect some downside. Bought Euro USD at 1.115. Okay, whereabouts is that? 1.115 is about here. Okay, so you're still holding onto that position, I presume. Where's your targets for that Euro USD trade? How far are you looking to take it? Because we're already at some resistance now, so that could make sense to lock in some gains. Okay, you mentioned your target there, 1.1274. 1.1274. Okay, that's more or less around here. Not a bad target. I assume you're probably targeting near and out, near about that wick high there. So yeah, I do expect us to get there. I think your main kind of obstacle is the high price is trading at now. If price can break through that, then you should be looking good. And you probably want price to pick up some momentum as well, because if we stay corrective, we could very much give us a big fake out of the level and then drop back in, just because this isn't really confident bullish price action for Euro. It's very, very corrective, and sometimes that means a pullback is coming up shortly. But nonetheless, Euro USD looks pretty bullish to me. And if it does break the high, I'm expecting to push on. It's just you like momentum to pick up a little bit. Otherwise, you might be looking at some type of correction. I assume you probably got your stop loss to break even. You've taken half the profits already. But yeah, looking pretty good. I'm pretty bullish on Euro as well. So I have the same bias as you, pretty similar expectation as well. It's just if Euro get that breakout first. That's the only question mark. Jonah, Aussie Chef. Okay, we'll have a look. Pound CAD as well. We'll have a look. So Aussie Chef is one that I really do like. It's on my watch list at the moment. Definitely a market which, if it gets to my level, I will look to short from. I am looking to sell from this level here around 0.586. Lines up really, really well on the daily, weekly time frame. As we can see, major support, major resistance, major support again. Looking for that sell. This is kind of like the big double top we had before we had that big meltdown. Now price is finally coming back for the retest of that same low. So I'm looking for the reaction off that low and a push down. Already taking out some minor highs here on the left as well. So I think that would be a really nice place for a short. And yeah, if price actually does go and break through that, then I actually will be bullish and I'll be looking for a move back to that high on the retest. So I actually do like the buys there as well if we actually get the breakout. I'm really bearish because that's the direction of the market. It's been falling. I still expect us to get to this low here. So that's where the bearish bias comes from. And of course, this looks like a great place for a short, but should it fail and should I be in the wrong direction, I'll quickly turn around to being bullish. If we get a solid break and look to buy and try and swing it back to the high. But either way, the risk reward looks really good. If you can get a nice refined entry at that level, you either basically target the high up there or the low down there, which looks pretty similar to me in terms of risk reward. 230 odd pips to the upside, 250 pips to the downside. So either way, you're looking at some really nice swings possible. But of course, you don't necessarily have to look for the whole move. You can look halfway and still get some decent risk rewards in. But that's the plan at the moment. Should we break above, I will look to change that plan. But for now, yeah, I like how we're moving. It's pretty corrective to me. So yeah, expecting us to sell off 0.586. Let me know your bias, what you're looking to do for Aussie CHF. Again, Aussie CHF is going to be similar to Aussie Yen. The Yen pairs are similar to the CHF pairs. Pretty bearish longer term with Aussie Yen as well. Looking for this to melt. So I do think Aussie CHF will join the party at some point. Okay, so we'll go through pound CAD as well. Oh, it is in your mind. I'm at break. So you're break even in your mind. Fair enough. But okay, fair enough. I mean, it's a nice move. It's a nice move. And of course, we're at an area where price could reverse against you. So we're going break even. Isn't the worst idea in the world. Because if the sellers are successful from this level, you know, you probably would expect price to push back to your entry. FX Fiend, no, I have not done pound Aussie yet. We'll go take a look at that. I'm looking to sell as well. Okay, nice. Yep, I'm in the same boat as you. In terms of pound CAD, I like pound CAD, but not as much because we just pushed into a big daily level. And this is an area where I do expect us to reverse from long term. So if you have a quick look at the monthly chart, you can see where we're coming into major resistance. And we've been very bullish for a while, and now we're pushing back to that high. So I do think we'll probably see a bit of a dip for pound CAD. So I do think this bullish trend will reverse from this area. But in the meantime, the bullish trend is still very much alive, and looking for pullbacks and breaking me tests still look good. So the opportunity I was interested in this week for pound CAD was, and pretty much still is, the breaking test of the high here, 1.78343. But after this push that we just had, I'm not too sure we'll get at least to that area, at least this week anyway. If it does start retracing, it might get the entry next week. But nonetheless, this is kind of the opportunity I'm looking at. In terms of buys, I wouldn't really be looking to buy the market now because we just approached the monthly level resistance. If anything, we're looking for some selling opportunities. But even in that case, I need to see some double tops, some break of structure, some lower highs before I even consider looking to short on pound CHF. So pound CHF, pound CAD, on pound CAD. So for me, the sells are not quite ready yet. We're in a nice area where we could sell off, but there is no sign of reversal just yet. In terms of buys, then yeah, we've got a lovely level here, 1.78436. Hopefully price can push to that area, then we can talk about some buys at a later date. But as where we're at right now, nothing for me to do at all. I know intraday we've been pushing up, but now that we're in the zone, now I wouldn't recommend intraday buys. We could still push on, but you probably find better opportunities elsewhere, which is the main thing I'm looking at. Tom screaming for sell soon. Which market are you talking about? I think Will was mentioning pound USD earlier. I'll go take a look at pound Aussie. So yeah, in terms of pound Aussie, I mentioned this one before, but yeah, I think it's a nice place for a buy. It's a nice place for a buy. I'm not as convinced because long term, I actually am pretty bearish on pound Aussie. I do think there's a big move to the downside at some point for this one. But on the daily chart, we are still pretty consistent with these higher lows here. And this is another area where we could put another higher low and see some upside. So it does look good for a buy. It does look good for a buy. And the swing potential is definitely there for something like this to happen. Of course, I doubt you'd be looking for such a big move, but the possibility is there. And on the 4 we had a really nice rejection as well. So the stops underneath this area look pretty good to me. And at least looking for a push back to 1.95 looks pretty reasonable. So I don't mind the trade here, pound Aussie. It looks pretty nice. The only reason why I haven't taken it is because long term I do see pound Aussie falling. And I kind of want to be in the sells rather than the buys. Same thing for pound NZD as well. So I think it's a nice place for a buy. I just don't think it'll go too far. I think we'll probably do something like that as well. But this move here could still be worthwhile depending on your entry. You still got about 200 pips roughly to target there. So buys still look pretty good. Just don't expect them to last too long because I do think we'll eventually roll over. Emmanuel, I think EuroCAD is a better long. Okay, we'll discuss EuroCAD. Tom, okay, you meant the yen pairs, all the yen crosses, fair enough. Yeah, they are just kind of moving channels, moving sideways. As I mentioned earlier, they had massive drops in July. So I think it's pretty reasonable to expect them to take a bit of a breather. But I do think as they've maintained resistance here, I do think they're putting the next top for price to continue down. So yeah, that's another reason why I'm short on pound yen. but I do think they've all just topped out from them to continue. Topped out for them. Dollar yen's a bit weird, but again, Swiss yen topped out for it to continue. So I do think we have put a high in, and the market is going to continue down. My thinking is that this is the top for the yen pairs. So I do think now we'll be trending down. Maybe it isn't the clearest price action over the past few days, but again, where I get my bias from is very much the higher time frame. So, with that bias locked in, I'm just looking for opportunities to short, and if I see them, I'm going to take them. But yeah, they had kind of just moving channels, to be fair. But it will break out eventually. It'll break out eventually, and we see momentum back, and then pullbacks will look really good, and just takes a break and retest will look good as well. Anyway, we'll discuss Euro CAD. If I have missed that up here, let me know. In terms of Euro CAD, I'm not okay. Gold, we'll take a look as well. In terms of Euro CAD, I'm not really a big fan of Euro CAD, to be honest, because of where we're trading. I know you said you think Euro CAD is better long. Of course, I'm sure you got your reasons for that. But I'm not really a big fan of Euro CAD. At least Pound CAD has got a pretty clear trend and clear levels to buy and sell from, even though we're about to test some higher time frame levels at the moment. But at least I can make a lot of sense of that trend. Euro CAD it's kind of been a bit of a range, really. I mean, there is a slight trend as we push up, but it's been back and forth, back and forth. The structure hasn't been totally clear, and we're still really struggling at this high here as well. Price is really undecided whether it wants to break above or not, or respect the high, to be honest. So EuroCAD, I'm not a big fan of the buys. In fact, if we can get a strong break of the high like this, then I might be a bit more of a fan and look for the retest afterwards. But at the moment, as we approach resistance, for me, this is not a bad place for a short, and just anticipate some downside. So I'm not a big fan of EuroCAD longs, especially not now anyway. As we approach the high here, we need to, as I said, break through. We need to even consider that. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the EuroCAD longs, and I'm sure you got your reasons for it, and probably looking at different time frames to me. But in terms of the higher time frames, in terms of the 4 hour, I don't think it looks too great, at least with the way I trade anyway. So EuroCAD, not really a pair I've been looking at. I had a look at it in the weekend, didn't tick my boxes, so I moved on pretty swiftly. But if it does break out like that this week, I probably will investigate it a bit more next week and maybe add it to my watch list if things look good. If there's a lot of momentum in the breakout, maybe I might consider it trading it next week, but certainly not this week. Okay, gold we'll discuss. Joni said you're looking for intraday buys. Okay. We'll take a look. Tom, okay, this week gold looking clean, looking for some possible longs 26.40. Your thoughts? Okay, we'll take a look at gold. Couple people discussing it. So yeah, I think for gold, again, it's pretty much a no-brainer for me in terms of what I want to do with gold. I'm not really an intraday trader, but if I was 100%, I'm looking for buying opportunities. There's just so much momentum in the market. I just would only look to buy. Of course, that bigger retracement will come at some point, and when it does, it will happen, and I'll still be bullish on gold, really, just waiting for a deeper pullback. But I'm still very, very bullish. The market's just pushing up. Weekly, we're getting strong close after strong close, so only looking for buys. In terms of areas to do that, 26.40 looks good, which is the area you mentioned, and also an area I kind of had mapped out. I like this area here as well. It was a brief consolidation. Market stopped a little bit, found some resistance. We had a really strong break above, no retest of that area there as well. So if we can see price push into that, that could be a really nice place for a buy. You can see even with how gold is moving, it's still really, really corrective, which tells me that there is room to the upside. Because if the market was kind of bleeding and seeing some heavy price action, okay, maybe gold might be going through a bigger pullback at that point. But it's really, really corrective. We had a bit of a big candle there, but it hasn't mounted much. The market is really, really corrective. So I do think we're just going to push up, test that high, and probably break through. So 26.40, I'm in full agreement with you. I think that's a really nice place for a buy. Of course, we're going to wait to see how price gets there, how he reacts. I wouldn't buy just straight away. But if you can put some wicks into that, bullish and gold things, I think that's a really nice place for a long. Back to the high we go, and probably higher. And if you do go for a bigger pullback, We've got some areas here around 25.89, which look good too. But yeah, it's going to probably take if we are going to see that move, it's going to probably take a few days to get there anyway. But should it happen, I'll be there waiting. Okay. Well, morning, Lepara. Welcome to the stream. Complete prop firm series. Now it's been a while, bro. Yes, it has been. It has been a while. Well, when Elevating Traders is up and running, I will get back to the challenge and get filming that again, just because I've been so busy with Elevating Traders, and we're so close to launching now as well. Been very, very busy sorting things out, so haven't had the time much to trade. My personal trading have been less frequent, but when things up and running, we'll let to get back into the normal things on the channel. And speaking of Elevating Traders, guys, if you haven't joined the Discord, make sure you go and do that. The link is at the top of the channel. At the top of the chat, you can't miss it. Make sure you check it out. Discount opportunities will be there once we do launch. So if you are interested, make sure you don't miss out and check out the Discord group. Will, okay, my man. Today the alerts have been set. Okay, that's all you can do. Sit and wait and strike when the iron's hot. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, my man. Jonah, I put the challenge on pause whilst I sort out my own prop, Elevating Traders. So like I said, once that is up and running, we can get back into the challenge content. But I haven't been trading as much as I normally do because I've been so busy. So hopefully when things are up and running and I can get back into routine again. But yeah, for me, just going to see how pound yen gets on. It's going to be a long wait, and it's not the best as well because I'm paying swap as well, holding shorts. But the reason why I'm not totally against it, because typically our sells are a lot heavier when they do happen. So although I'm paying swap to hold the position, it should kick in. If I'm in the right direction, we should kick in. You should see some heavy momentum to the downside. So hopefully I can get some sells in. Hopefully I get some sells in, and we push quickly, so I won't have to pay swap too many days. But yeah, it's a long-term trade, so I won't dodge that bullet completely. But hopefully we can pick up some pace or something when we get the breakouts. And the thing about the yen pairs as well with Bank of Japan, at some random point, I could wake up one morning and the market has just dropped 300 pips in my favor, or pushed 300 pips against me. That's another thing that could happen too. But yeah, one random morning you could just see a massive meltdown like that, which is why I like the yen pairs, because they're very, very rewarding if you can get them correctly, especially if you trail stops as well, because you just don't know how far they can go in one move. Anyone catching a big bulk of that would have had a really nice payday, especially with some trail stops as well. So that's where the yen pairs are attractive. Same reason why gold is attractive as well. But of course, if you don't know what you're doing, you could definitely lose your account faster and blow accounts faster as well. So you have to be sensible with it too. But yeah, to me, the yen pairs is just another FX pair to trade. There's opportunities everywhere. It's just about managing them and taking the best one that comes to you. TXY slowly pushing up. Tad bullish this morning. But yeah, not much to read into there. I think NAS is a really interesting indice right now as well. As we come back to retest the high, to me, this looks like a lovely place for a price to push on back to the swing high, the all-time high, 2,700. So I'm pretty bullish on the indices still. Again, I wouldn't really be looking for opportunities on S&P and on US 30, because these guys are already at their all-time highs and see some new highs. But NAS nowhere near the all-time highs, so I think it's still got room to the upside to push into. Therefore, it looks like a really good buy, whether you're intraday or intra-week. I think there is room to the upside for this one to go through, even if it's a push back to the high there. I think it's pretty high, pretty likely we'll make that move, and I think we'll continue anyway. But for the indices, yeah, NAS looks good. NAS looks good. How you coping with the overnight fees? Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, it's not great. Pound yen, the swaps are not good. The swaps are not good, I have to say. So yeah, I mean the plan is the trade. If the trade plays out, of course, it will cover the swaps. It just depends how quickly we get going, because the thought process is that when the yen pairs sell off, they tend to sell off a lot quicker than when they do push up. You know, if you just look back at over the market, you can see the sells are most always a lot heavier than the buys. Most of the time, of course, the trend's been up, but when we do sell off, we do sell off pretty quickly. So my thinking is that I won't be in the sell too long. I know it's the high time frames. It could take some time in the beginning. Maybe we consolidate for a few days, but I'm expecting us to sell off pretty hard. And of course, I'll be trading stops. So although, you know, my kind of mental target is this low here, hopefully we can take it a lot further. But yeah, the swaps will eat into the profit a little bit. It's not to a crazy point where I wouldn't trade it. I mean, that's kind of the main reason why I stopped trading exotic markets, because I used to trade exotics like USD ZAR, USD peso, yeah, mainly those two. Sometimes USD SEC, but mostly USD ZAR and USD peso. I used to trade those markets as well, but it got to a point where it didn't even make sense for me to take any buys, because I mean, the profit would still outweigh the swap, but the swap would just be quite big in itself. And even if I like took a trade and I spent a few days in it and then it took me out for a loss, it's almost like taking two losses really at some point. So the swap was just way too heavy on those exotic markets, which is why I stopped trading them. And pound yen and some of the other yen pairs can be heavy hitters as well, but it's not too much where it will put me off a trade. So yeah, it's not great, and there's very little I can do really to counteract that. To be honest, there's very little I can do. I mean, the best way to counteract is just stick to intraday with pound yen, for example, and not hold overnight or not hold over too many nights. But yeah, it's not too bad where it will put me off a trade, but it's not great, I have to say. But then I try to think from a point of view that sometimes I'll be in trades where the swap is positive, sometimes I'll be in trades where the swap is negative, and you would expect the swap to cancel out like at the end of the year, all the positive swap you accumulated versus the negative. It won't really cancel out. The negative will be a lot more, most likely, but the positive swap will kind of help out, because I've had some nice positive swap positions this year. I know it won't add up to what pound yen will be. I think this will be a lot more, but it will help kind of counteract it as well. So some positive swap trades do help. But yeah, that's one of the cons of swing trading as well. Swap cost you have to factor in. Of course, it can be positive, so it can be a plus for your trading, but it can definitely be a negative as well. There's not much you can do about it other than just not trading overnight, really, and keep it intraday. But it's definitely something to factor in, though. Yeah, I agree as well. The spreads can really widen on the exotics. That's why it's difficult to trade them. Spreads are wider, swap, even the price action is not as tidy as well. So it's always a bit more difficult. I mean, sometimes they give good opportunity, because again, at the end of the day, they're still forex markets. It's just less volume, less people trading them. So they won't be as neat and tidy as Euro USD, for example, as smooth as Euro. but there's still opportunities there. So I do like trading them. I did trade them for probably was a couple of years actually. But I did get to a point where I started to avoid longs because of the swap. I focused more on shorts. But even that, as you said, the spreads can be pretty big as well. So I think an effective rule would be, if you are holding some trades, remove your stop loss when the rollover does happen. Say, for example, the rollover in the UK happens at 10 p.m. So, for example, at 9 p.m., you remove your stop loss and then you add your stop loss back around 11 p.m. So an hour after rollover, because of course spreads would widen at 10 o'clock when the daily candle closes. But then it will slowly come back to normal by 11 p.m. So an hour after the rollovers happen. So what you could do is take your stop loss off at 9, put it back on at 11 or whenever the rollovers happen for you guys. And that kind of does help with getting stopped out, because I've been in trades, even been in a little bit in profit, and then the rollovers happened. And because the spreads widened so much, I've actually been taking out the trade for a loss, even a slippage loss as well, not just a flat out stop loss, even slippage as well. And just to see that, by 11 p.m. spreads come back to normal, and price was nowhere near my stop loss in the first place. So I recommend to do that with the exotics 100%. But then again, you do get some nice positive swap. Like if you're shorting USD ZAR, USD peso, you do get some really nice swap for holding overnight. So that's a plus, and that could be a nice aspect with the exotics. But yeah, I don't think overall they're really that worth it, to be honest. Especially when you got so many pairs to choose from, FX majors and minors as well. Yeah. And there's so many other markets to choose from. Instead of looking at exotics, I'd rather look at gold, look at indices as well, even oil. So yeah, sometimes exotics can be fruitful, but sometimes not so much, especially with the buys as well. Like buying USD ZAR, USD peso, not great at all. I mean, if you're going to intraday buy, not too bad. You're going to be in and out in the same day, not too bad. But then again, the spreads aren't great either. Yeah, you're most always almost better off trading like Euro USD, for example, which will be a bit slower, not as lot of pips, but at least it will be a lot more sensible. It's not going to give you too crazy price action. Spreads will be the best. Swap won't be heavy at all, whether you're positive or negative. And of course, the volume is really, really high. It's the most traded market as well. So it's going to be the most stable too. So especially if you're an intraday trader, trading a market like Euro, although it will have its times where it does consolidate, it will give you some really nice price action most of the time. And from a trading standpoint, it's pretty smooth as well. So yeah, I wouldn't see any logic really trading like USD ZAR over Euro really. But yeah, that's the big thing about exotics. But there's enough majors and minors to trade where you don't really need to trade exotics. So yeah, that's kind of what I focus on. But there's always opportunities wherever. I mean, the key thing I'm looking at for me, especially because I trade so many markets, is I'm looking for opportunity. Where is that opportunity? Is it on Euro? Is it on Pound USD? Is it on Pound NZD? Is it on Euro Pound? Is it on CAD Yen? Is it on gold? Is it on silver? Is it on US 30? I don't know where the next best opportunity will come from. So that's why I look at a wide range of markets, because I'm looking for that next best opportunity. It may come from any one of those markets there. So I don't want to keep myself pinned down to a set few markets, which could be beneficial, especially in the lower time frames, because you can become more in tune with those markets. At the same time, with me as a swing trader holding for longer term, I'm looking for that best opportunity, which could come on any random pair. And if I'm trading, for example, what pair has been consolidating for a while. I mean, not many pairs have been consolidating, to be honest, actually. We've actually been trending a little bit in recent times. But over here, Aussie dollar had a lot of consolidation. So if I focus on Aussie dollar here, I won't get a lot of trade opportunities. At least that fit my plan anyway. And during this time, there could be some really nice trending markets on Euro CAD, for example. So instead of spending my time here, I'll jump over Euro CAD, start trading that. Let's say this market came clean again, I'll jump back on Aussie dollar. That's why I give myself a lot of markets to trade from. And even with all the markets I trade from, every week I'm always creating a watch list for the new week. So I look at over 30 pairs, but that comes right down to about 5 or 6 for the new week. Sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. And then on average, I only take 1 or 2 trades either week as well. So very, very manageable stuff. Of course, if you're looking at every single market all the time, then that would not be manageable. But if you can simplify it down, it makes it a lot easier. It looks like Euro is having a tough time on that high there. But yeah, I kind of want Euro to break lower. Something like this would be best case scenario for Euro in terms of my personal trading. Because I'm looking for a big buy at the low, which I can swing and hold. And these 2 levels here are my areas of interest. Trying to find that next higher low. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for Euro. And because it's so corrective, I feel like we might push down. And then could be talking about some trades later. Okay, also swing trade about curiously how you go about correlation. Good question. Well, first of all, I kind of group all the markets I look at in terms of related markets and of correlation as well. If you look on the right here, where my watch list is, you've got the yen pairs, you've got the USD, you've got the CAD crosses and CHF. So I've got is that 6 group? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 groups I look at. These are some extra stuff. These are the markets I don't trade at the moment. DXY, Bitcoin, NAS, Ethereum, oil. But these are the kind of the 5 groups I've got. And basically, I kind of want to be looking at these groups as a whole and finding the best opportunity within them. So, for example, with the yen pairs, I'm short bias in all of them and finding which market will provide me the best opportunity. In this case, is pound yen, which is why I popped into a pound yen trade. Now that box is ticked, so I don't really need to be looking at any other yen pairs because, like we said, correlation with the yen pairs, they're all going to pretty much do the same thing at the same time. So I don't need to now start looking at New Zealand yen or Aussie yen. That box has been ticked. In terms of the USD, I'm very bearish on USD. So what I'll do, I'll analyze all of them and I'll create a bias for those set currency pairs. So for yen, for example, I'm bearish. So all these markets, I'm looking for selling opportunities. USD pairs, I'm really bearish on USD. So, I'm bullish on euro, I'm bullish on pound, bullish on New Zealand dollar. Of course, dollar CAD, I'll be expecting that to push down. Dollar CHF push down, Aussie push up, New Zealand dollar push up, gold push up, silver push up. So I've got that bias for the USD pairs. And then I'll try and find an opportunity for those USD pairs. So where can I find that opportunity? Will it be on euro longs or New Zealand longs or dollar CAD shorts? Then I can create my watch list and see which pairs look the best. And let's say I get a trade on New Zealand dollar long, then that's me done with the USD pairs. I would only look to find more USD opportunities once that ends the USD trade is at break even and is risk free. Then I could say, okay, I might look to trade euro now as well, or I might add another position to ends the USD and start looking for additional trades. But these are the groups and these are the correlations with them. So I wouldn't look to go and trade pound CAD and euro CAD and Aussie CAD at the same time. Same thing. Same with these guys here. Euro NZD, pound NZD, no. Same with pound CHF, CAD CHF, Aussie CHF. They're very much the same thing. So Correlation, I suggest group your markets that you look at um, in terms of their correlation, and then only look for opportunities for each group, because then it means that you're kind of trading that correlation anyway, and you're not crossing things. But the thing is, even with that said, there's correlation between the groups as well. Like for example, Euro USD and Euro Yen. Um, they both have Euro in it. If Euro is bullish, they're probably both pushing up. For example, yen pairs and CHF pairs have a lot of correlation. When yen pairs fall, so does CHF. And USD is correlated to CHF and yen as well. So there's kind of correlation with everything, to be honest, if you really look at it. But the key thing is that you don't want to be too directly correlated, because you can't avoid it altogether to a degree, unless you split between like Forex, crypto, and commodities. Then you can probably get a better correlation. But even then, there's correlation between those in terms of USD. If USD is weak, Forex majors are up, indices are up, crypto is normally up as well. So even that, there's correlation there as well. The key thing is, really, the key point is, you just don't want to put all your eggs in the same basket. You want to size up on a lot of trades, and they all kind of move the same way at the same time. If you are going to do that, you want to make sure that your initial trades are break even, there's no risk involved, and then you can add on. Otherwise, let's say if you take 1% risk per trade, and you go long in euro, and you go long in pound, you go long in Aussie, then that suddenly becomes 5% risk. Let's say you take 5 trades, that suddenly becomes 5% risk for that whole idea. If you're looking for euro to go up, for that to happen, pound's probably going to go up 2, Aussie's probably going to go up 2. So your 1% risk is now 5. But if you can get into euro and get that to break even, then you can get into pound. And there's no harm, no foul. Or at least maybe 2 at a time. So it's up to you how you want to manage that. You just don't want to overexpose yourself. But yeah, for me, I just group them into related pairs, and I try to just take one trade from each. I mean, I don't have to take one trade from each, but if I'm going to take a trade, I don't want to be from the same group until I am risk-free. And then, yeah, that's kind of how I go about it. But then, like I said, even there's some correlations between them, like use the JPY, use the CAD. So it's difficult to completely get rid of it, but if you can get to break even with your initial trade, then that initial risk is gone. So adding another trade, even with the same correlation, isn't such a big a deal anymore. But you have to be careful, because especially with big news events as well, if you've got a lot of positions and news comes out and it's in your direction, great. If it's not in direction, that's not great, especially if it's a big news and you get slipped. Can be some really devastating losses there. But it's a good question though, because if you get a good opportunity in Euro USD and a good opportunity in Pound USD, are you taking both? Are you taking none? Are you taking one? Take both, but reduce the risk. I mean, there's no wrong answer. There's no per se right answer either. The underlying rule is just manage risk. If your risk is managed, you'll be alive to fight again. So as long as your risk is managed to a healthy degree, then you're good. If you take both, you take one, you take none, as long as your risk is managed, you're in a good place. Okay. Exactly. It is a form of diversification if you know what you're doing. 100%. Yeah, it is a form of diversification, because all these correlations, they will move a certain way. So if you can try and find, a group of pairs that move a certain way and a group of pairs that move a different way, then trading one group and trading the other group is a way to kind of diversify your trading count. Because if one trade plays out great, It might not necessarily be with the other one, but you can use it as kind of a hedge, almost even. Not directly, but indirectly hedged another position. So there's logic there too. But yeah, that's the way I tackle it. But yeah, because as a swing trader, you got to think about that stuff. Day trading, if you're going to take trading a couple of pairs, 2, 3 pairs, 4 pairs, then of course you still got to think about correlation, but it's not as big of a deal. Lauda, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Any markets you're looking at, feel free to let us know. I'm still nursing my pound yen position from last week. Did see a bit of downside, which is obviously great, but not much has happened. We pushed back up again this morning, but again, I expect this to happen anyway because that's such a big drop there on Friday. So naturally, I'm expecting us to see upside. I think just for price to keep dropping like that will be a big ask. So I think naturally we're going to pull back, see a lower high intraday, which actually could provide some nice opportunities intraday for some shorts. We spoke a lot about euro yen, about some pullbacks to this area, and then a sell. That to me looks like a really nice intraday opportunity. I think pound yen could do something similar. To be honest, I think all the yen pairs could do something similar. Bit of a correction and then a continuation. Some of the yen pairs look better than others, but that's kind of where I'm at. What's up, Kang? Welcome to the stream. Advice on breaking trader. But profitable trading, back testing. I'm currently in evaluation phase under FX2. Okay, that's actually a good question. A lot of people in that situation. So yeah, of course, with back testing, back testing is not the be all or end all. Back testing, you just have to kind of view it as practice, as training, like professional athletes view. They train and then they have their professional games or matches or races, whatever their sport is. They have their training and then their race day or their game day. So you have to treat back testing the similar way. Back testing is great. It's a way of practice, but if you're profitable back testing, most people are profitable back testing. I can get probably everyone here to go and back test the strategy for the previous 100 trades, and I bet most people here will come out of a positive expectancy on their back testing. But then when it comes to applying in markets, that's where it's a whole different ball game. So the key thing is to look really is to make sure that you're looking at your trades from enough sample size. So for example, if you just taken 20 trades and you're break even, well, that's not really a big deal because 20 trades is a very small sample. And even a very, very profitable system can still have 20 trades and still end up break even. But the next 20 trades, next 40 trades they take, they're well into profit. So if the sample size is very small, don't judge yourself too early. If the sample size is pretty big, like for example, like 100, then you got to look back at those 100 trades you took live and then compare them to the 100 trades you took back tested. Do they look the same? Do you have the same characteristics? Do they tick the same boxes? What's the difference between the 100 you took back tested and the 100 you took live? And normally the difference between them is the answer to your question. Because if you can back test something and it proves profitable, then effectively you just have to do that in live markets again. And you have to look at market conditions as an important factor as well. If you're back testing, for example, the yen pairs in the past couple of years, you're looking at some really nice buying techniques, but then you do it again during this phase, of course, you're going to lose some money because the market is no longer doing what it was doing the past couple of years. So that could be a factor as well. You back test the strategy for the past year, but then this year the market's a little bit different. Of course, the strategy is not going to be as effective. So you've got to take that into consideration as well. If you back test a strategy and you get 60% win rate with a 1 to 2 risk reward, kind of expect when you come to live conditions not to live up to that potential. You know, I like to say drop your win rate by 5 or 10%, really, when it comes to live, because conditions will be different. You've got live money at stake. You'll be thinking a little bit differently as well. Back testing is a very quick quick tool you can use that just you click replay and you just click play, and price plays on very quickly. In real life, it takes time for those candlesticks to form. So there's a lot of factors, a lot of things that will play into it. But I'd say the biggest thing is look at the main difference between the trades you took, your previous 100 trades to your previous 100 trades in back testing. Look for the visual difference there is. And normally the visual difference between them is the answer to your solution. But if you're only taking 20 trades, let's say 25 trades and you break even, I wouldn't sweat it. I would keep going. That's a very small sample size. The next 25, you could be very, very profitable. So yeah, I wouldn't sweat it if you're taking like 25 positions and you break even 30. I wouldn't sweat it. I think really a good amount is 100 to really justify something. But you can probably start making a good guess after 50 trades. After 50 trades, you should be fairly on track. Not exact, like I said, not exact, but you should see some improvement after 50. If it's 25, then that's just very small. You could be break even. You could be losing after 25 as well, and still make heaps of money in the next 25 or 50 trades or whatever. So yeah, get some more trades taken if the sample size is that big. Okay, glad it helped. Lepara, yes, of course. In the Discord group, there will be discount opportunities for people in the group when Elevating Traders does launch. So look out for that. If you're on the Discord, then all is good. Just stay alert. But opportunities will be there. If you're not in the Discord, then get yourself in the Discord. The link to that is completely free. It's free to join. The link to that is at the top of the chat. You cannot miss it. OP, what's good? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Thoughts on BTC? Good question, because I've actually looked at Bitcoin actually since the weekend, and yeah, we did have a bit of a dip there. So yeah, with Bitcoin, I'm pretty bearish on. I don't know if you guys catch my analysis on the weekend, but I said with Bitcoin, I'm expecting us to reject the high and come right back down. If price does break out, great, prove me wrong. Then we'll look for buys and discuss some buying opportunities on the breakout. But because we've been rejecting the high and the low of this descending channel so well, my expectation is that I'm expecting us to continue in this and probably actually eventually break lower, because I would have expected us to break to the upside by now. The fact that we haven't broken to the upside makes me lose a lot of confidence with Bitcoin. Of course, I could be proven wrong and Bitcoin could have a really big day and breakout. If that's the case, we will speak about the breaking me test and some buys, but we haven't done that yet. So I'm pretty bearish on Bitcoin. It hasn't come quite to the high yet, so it's a bit of an awkward sell, but it looks like we're dipping below this high here. So originally, those are the two levels I was looking at. So the high of the trend line and also the high over there as well, which is just above 64K. So those are the two areas which I think is a nice place for a short. It looks like price just pinched the high and coming back down. So to me, if we can lock and stay underneath this, I'm looking for a big drop to downside back to 52K roughly. If we do push a little bit higher, then we might go and tag the trend line and then sell. But either way, I'm looking for a big turning point in Bitcoin. And if it does break the high, like I said, we reanalyze, maybe I have gone wrong somewhere and Bitcoin is going to break out and maybe see something like that again to the upside. And maybe that's going to push us to 100K maybe. But I'll believe it when I see it. When we get the breakout, then I'll start discussing the buys. But for now, still in the channel, still looking for another drop for this guy. Still looking for another drop. And if price breaks the high, we'll probably break this high at the same time as well. And then we'll probably get something like that as we fly. And then we can look at some breaking me test or some opportunities of that nature. But no breakout yet. So still the same old with Bitcoin. Okay, I'll take a look at gold just shy to that 2640 mark. Is it selling off? That's it, Lipara. Let's get in the Discord, gents and ladies as well. I know there's some women on the stream as well. Got to pay them their respect too. So yeah, gold. Oh yeah, it is selling off a little bit there. So yeah, very close to that 2640 area. So yeah, I like gold. It's kind of moving this channel here. Get some wicks to the downside. That'll be nice there. Maybe on the 30-minute time frame. Could even drop 30, 15 for entries here. Really refine that entry. But yeah, the idea is that I'm expecting this area to hold and for us to come right back to the high there. Very, very bullish on gold. Would only look for buys in this market. Same with silver as well. How's DXY? DXY must look a little bit bullish. Yeah, it does. I'm not going to read too much into that, to be honest. I do think we'll just come back, respect the resistance, and sell off again. So it's kind of what I'm thinking with DXY. I mean, I want to see something like that from dollar actually, so I can get the sell-in on some of the dollar currencies I'm looking for, but not too sure. I mean, we might get it. We might get it. Again, that's the thing about trading. You know, you map out an expectation and then you wait to see if it's fulfilled. If it is fulfilled, you pounce, you strike. If it's not fulfilled and price does something else, you analyze and you go again. That's all it is. You know, we're not fortune tellers here. You know, a lot of people look at traders like, wow, he just knows where the market's going to go. It's not even true. In fact, they have no idea where the market's going to go. They're just making educated guesses and then staying true to their discipline, staying true to their edge, and letting their strategy do the heavy lifting. So yeah, with gold, with silver, that's the plan. Looking for the breaking test of the high, and you just have to wait for it to come into fruition. Same with the USD pairs as well. Pound USD seeing some downside there. It's having a tough time at the high. Maybe we do break lower, then get the buy. I have to say though, if you have done a decent amount of back testing and you can see positive results, you're doing a lot more than the average trader. Because the stat is pretty disheartening with retail traders. Pretty disheartening. Things like 80 or 90% of retail traders fail or lose money. I can tell you majority of those 70, 80, 90% that lose money don't take the time out to study, to put work into, to actually analyze a market fully, to back test, to test the strategy, know the strategy in great detail, fail and try again, and fail and try again. A lot, big proportion of those traders that make up that 70, 80, 90% that fail, don't do all of that hard work as well. So if you are doing that work, then it does put you into that upper category. Of course, if you're not profitable yet, it will come. It will come because it's a numbers game. It's not necessarily IQ that makes you a good trader here. Of course, that would help, I suppose. But at the end of the day, you just need a profitable system that you can implement. That's what you're looking for here. So if you can do the heavy work with the back testing, find a strategy that works and know it fully, then it just becomes practice makes perfect, and practice applying that to the market. And that will come after time and experience, but it will come. Only 7 likes. Surely got more than that. Yeah, I think you need to refresh the page, Pedro. But speaking of likes, though, if you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out the channel. I appreciate everyone who has dropped a like so far and subscribed. It does really help out. As Pedro says, don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. And yeah, make sure you do hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Jay Smith, what's up? That makes so much sense. Good to hear, my man. Glad to hear that it makes sense. Glad it makes some sense. But yeah, like I say, guys, if you put in the work in, then you're putting yourself ahead of a lot of people, because the average retail trader just will fund their account with some extra money they got lying around, and then just kind of play around and see if they can make a quick buck or no. They might make a decent amount in their first trade. Like, wow, this is great. I trade a little bit more. Then they eventually lose the money and they're like, oh, I shouldn't do that again. And then they leave and they walk away. And then they become part of that stat that 80 or 90% people fail. Not a lot of retail traders will be here 2, 3, 4, 5 years later and still trading. So even if you're in that position 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, again, you got a lot going for you. Just about persistence and dedication, which I know a lot of people, probably everyone on the stream has that. Okay, 27 still short. True, Pedro, still short. Let's see if we can get that to 30 likes. 30 likes by the end of the video. End of the stream. Is anyone in any USD pairs? I know a few people were talking about USD pairs last week. I think a few people were talking about some Aussie dollar shorts and New Zealand dollar shorts as well, which I don't mind. I'm just very bullish on these guys. If they do sell off, that'll be great because it means I can find some buys for them. But yeah, I'm just not quite sold on the shorts. I mean, USD looks pretty decent, but yeah, not a trade I'll take. How is Aussie CHF doing? Okay, so still just dancing at the high. Hopefully we can push a little bit higher this week. Test 0.586. And I can find some nice entries there. Retest that low. I think this one looks the next most likely trade for me. Aussie CHF, because I'm not going to get into another yen pair. That box is already ticked. USD pairs I would love to get into, but they need to retrace, and that could take 2-3 days, maybe even longer. So not going to focus too much of my efforts on those pairs when realistically I'm not going to get a trade today at all. So realistically, Aussie CHF is the only one that could provide something the next day or two, or at some point this week probably. So I'm going to keep a close eye on this, manage pound yen, and then wait and see if these USD pairs will give me the necessary pullbacks I'm after. Wow, gold has just sold off. Last time I looked at gold, we're over there, another check down there. Now we just smashed into 2640. So yeah, gold's in a nice area for a buy. Of course, we're bleeding out the sky right now. Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration. We're pretty bearish, but we could definitely turn around from here. I'll wait to see if we can start to stall now, provide some wicks, at least in the 15 or 30 minute time frame, and then look for some buys after that. But we're in a nice area for gold, so I do like the longs. OP. Okay, looking at NZUSD, but not yet. Longs. Okay, looking for buys as well. Yeah, I'm looking for buys as well, but at the moment we're at a big daily level, so I think buys is just a no-go. Even if you're looking at intraday buys as well, it's going to be a little bit difficult. Not that we can't go and break the level, but it's not the best location. It would be a much better price for trading near this low, or even the retest the high here. That would be just a much better place for a buy in general. So, yeah, need the NZUSD to pull back down before I can discuss some longs. But yeah, very, very bullish on that market. If it does give me an entry, I will definitely take it. If I'm not in another USD pair, that is. But if I'm not, I'm in the trade. Good morning, Dark Sean. Welcome to the. I was about to say welcome to the trade there. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Slow Monday. Okay, just in binary for now. Okay. 2 more trades and profit for today is done. Wow. Looking to try and hit that goal. Um, so is that two more trades on binary, or are you waiting for Forex? 160.7 euro yen. Do you see it? Is it possible? 160.7, 160.7. I mean, that's why I do think is that, again, there's a difference between is it possible and do I expect it to happen. My thinking when I mapped out this level is if price gets there, I think that's a nice place for a short. Do I expect it to get there? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Because we very much could consolidate here and then drop. It's not necessarily my expectation for price to get there. It's just if we come back for a retest there, see some rejection, I think that's a nice place to short, and then see the down move. So yeah, 100% is possible to happen, but I wouldn't necessarily bank on it. But if it does happen, great. I think that's a great place for some shorts and expect a continuation. I'm really bearish on euro yen. I'm not looking for any upside in terms of an opportunity to buy. I'm only looking at downside for all the yen pairs really. So when they do push up, I'm looking for that point where they could put a lower high in and then come back down. And to me, this is a great place where you could put that lower high in and then see some follow through. So I think that's a great place for a short. I wouldn't buy it up there, but sells, that's a different kettle of fish. So I do like the downside from 160.7. I think it's a pretty reasonable area. It was price support before we got that big push up, before we got the big drop, and price never came back for a retest. So to me, it's a nice fresh level of intraday support. So should we come back for the retest there? I think it's a great place to short. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily bank on us getting there. Definitely possible though. Anything's possible. Okay, on binary, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, FX, no fun at the moment, really. I think USD just being a little bit awkward for everyone because I know Euro USD, Pound USD, a lot of people looking to trade these markets, but they're a bit flat today. So yeah, not offering much. Even yen pairs kind of just a bit back and forth, to be honest. OP was hoping for 192 in GJ for some better shorts. What are your thoughts? I'm actually short on pound yen right now. So my thoughts is a lot more downside for pound yen. I have marked out a little area around 191.8, which is this brief area of support here. Probably see it better in the hourly chart. Brief area of support there, which could look like a nice place for a short. Come back and retest it, and then see a sell-off, and that could be a nice intraday level for a sell. Let me just move this out of the way. So that could be a nice intraday place for a sell, which is roughly around the 192 area anyway. So yeah, I do think that's because if you look at all the yen pairs, they all had that big drop on Friday, and they're all kind of finding support now. So I think price is having the correction of that move because it was such a big drop. And the areas I marked out look like reasonable places where the market could put that next intraday lower high in and continue down. So I think that 192 area looks good. I think 160.7 looks good for euro yen as well. There's a few other levels that look good, dollar yen, Swiss yen as well, CAD yen too. So yeah, I think 192 looks good. It's just about where we get that retracement. And of course, we have to see how price reacts there. I wouldn't short straight away, but I think it's a sensible level to expect some downside. So yeah, I think it's not bad. Not bad at all. Um, okay. Wants to go down just gambling. Fair enough. At least you're being honest. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm just gonna wait for those shorts because I've been pretty bearish with these yen pairs for probably about a month now, really. Um, and I've been waiting for the shorts to come around, and they're starting to come around since last week. So now I'm going to see what happens. And my goal is to see if I can get this to break even at some point, and then hopefully try and scale into another yen pair or find additional shorts on pound yen, because I really do think these guys can fall pretty hard. I've spoken about this level here, but I do think we can go a lot further for pound yen. Again, I'm looking at the higher time frames because that's where I get the bias from. If you look what happened here, pinch the high, huge sell off to the low, pinch the high, huge sell off possibly to the low. Of course, I'm not necessarily looking for that move, but I do think this uptrend here is met its match, and we probably will go for a bit of a bearish trend. Maybe you test the structure, form a higher low, and continue up. Maybe we go and do something like that. That's perfectly fine. But even if we do that, there's still a lot of room to the downside as well. Or we could see the big sell, and there's a lot of room. I do expect to see a lot of momentum as well, because you look at the previous big sell-offs, they always have a lot of momentum too. So I don't think this time will be any different. I think we'll probably see the same thing for a lot of yen pairs. So that's why I'm really, really bearish on them, because they had some nice levels, nice signs of characteristics of reversal. So as a swing trader, I'm just looking for those shorts and finding those opportunities to partake in them. So my goal really for towards the end of the year really is just hit those shorts. Of course, I could be wrong, and if price starts breaking higher, I'll prove to be incorrect, and then I'll reanalyze and go again. I'm not saying this is 100% certain to happen. Of course not. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a stop loss on the trade. But again, as a trader, you've got to deal with probabilities. My probabilities lie with the shorts, so I'll stay with them. And hopefully I can find some more shorts for the yen pairs. But we'll see. It's a long way to go. Pound yen's more or less still at my entry. So yeah, me moving to break even is still a long way away for now. Hopefully, maybe towards the end of the week, but we'll see. And then I'll start shifting my focus to USD, because I'm really, really bearish on USD, and I think a lot of upside is in store for NZUSD, for pound, for euro, for Aussie. I think there's a lot of room to the upside. If I can get some big pullbacks from these guys, well, not necessarily big, but to my levels, I'll find some nice buys and look to try and hold these for long term as well. So hopefully some big shorts in yen, hopefully some big buys on these dollar pairs, inspecting USD weakness. Maybe a nice short on the CHF pair as well, Aussie CHF. I can get that short there too. That's kind of where my focus is for now. I do like Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD for some shorter term buys, but I need these guys to pull back. Something like that for Aussie CAD would be nice. Something like that for NZD CAD would be nice as well. Hopefully I can get these opportunities too. But we'll see. So I've got quite a few pairs I'm looking at, but in terms of actually finding a trade, it's only Aussie CHF I have to think about really. No other pairs quite close to an entry just yet. Of course, apart from pound yen, which I'm in. Appreciate it, Pedro. Let's see if it can play out. Order gold's moving down nicely, which could give us a nice entry to the upside. I agree. How is gold looking? Yeah, it's selling off pretty hard. So yeah, I think this is a really nice zone. For me, if this zone doesn't hold, then I wouldn't expect it to be bearish. We might push a little bit low into this area. But if this zone doesn't hold, then I actually would expect us to give us that bigger pullback to 25.90, which is this area here, which is still a great news for me, because this is kind of where I want to buy from originally. So if it does pull back there, I'll still look for the entries to take gold higher up. But from an intraday level, I think this is a really nice place for a buy anyway, coming back to that lower end of the channel as well. So yeah, to me, if you can see some rejection there, I think that's a solid buy. And I think the key sign is rejection, because gold might just be gold and just have a big meltdown if it wants to. But if it starts stalling here, providing some wicks, you see some bullish momentum creeping back into the market, then you've got yourself a nice buy there. And the thing is, if you catch a nice buy on gold, you don't know how far this can go. It could really rip. So leaving some small positions to run if you want to, I think would be a smart move with gold in the current climate. And hopefully I can get silver going as well, because I like the upside here too. Either the breaking test of the high or the retest here. So yeah, very, very bullish on gold and silver still. and just finding opportunities for it. But yeah, I agree though. I definitely agree. Praying for a big pullback in gold. It will happen. It will happen. I'm sure it will. But gold's kind of in a different phase now. You know, the last time I had a big pullback in gold really was here back in 2020. You know, we went through a crazy big bullish run. Price went for a big pullback, a big kind of corrective period. And now we're breaking out. So gold is kind of in a bullish mode. Let's not forget what happened at the start of the year. Really big push to the upside, so much momentum, hardly any sign of a pullback, and price was flying. But a bit of a pause. Now, to me, it looks like we're sort of coming back into this phase. Not as strong, but we're sort of coming back into that bullish phase. So again, I think gold will go through a bit of a correction period, and then it's just going to fly again probably. So that's why I'm just very bullish, only looking for buys in gold. Unless gold does something crazy, then we can speak about some sells. But if we do push down, I'm expecting us to push up. So yeah, still very bullish in gold. Just finding buy opportunities, really. That's the aim. And of course, same thing with silver as well. Same thing with silver. And my bearish bias in USD plays into that very well as well, which is what I like, because it all just lines up in sync. So, you know, if USD is going to stay bearish, that always will help gold to the upside in general anyway. And that will help the indices push up too. I still think NAS has got a bit of a way to go, so I do like this one to the upside as well. But yeah, for me, we'll just keep nursing pound yen. And again, I'll keep an eye on Aussie CHF. If I do get an entry for Aussie CHF, I'll put it in the Telegram, which is linked in the description below. But yeah, this is the one that's likely to give me an entry, or the most likely to give me the entry. It's not there yet, but most likely to give me an entry in the next probably couple of days. So I have to keep an eye on that one. Pound Aussie looking pretty bullish. Pound NZD2. These looked okay, but I'm not the biggest fan of them. Hopefully I can get some retracements for Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD. And then I can get some longs for those guys as well. But then again, I don't want to overtrade either. You know, if I'm selling Aussie CHF, should I really be buying Aussie CAD? Probably not, because I'm buying Aussie and selling Aussie at the same time. So yeah, it depends which one comes to me first and if it looks good or not. So that's what I'll be waiting for. Same thing with NZD CAD as well. Pullbacks, retest. Expecting a lot more upside. But I'm liking the markets at the moment. There's some really nice opportunities should they come into fruition. A lot of upside I'm looking at. So if I can get some opportunities, should be looking at a really nice end of the year, hopefully. But yeah, really coming to the last quarter. I think, yeah, tomorrow's the 1st of October. Oh yeah, I forgot. The monthly candle closes today. Completely forgot about that. Need to go and have a look through the monthly candles and see how they're looking. But yeah, coming to the end of the year. Crazy, crazy stuff. Haven't been checking out pound CHF. No, I'm more focused on Aussie CHF to be honest for the shorts. Because again, pound CHF, Aussie CHF, similar pairs. Aussie CHF looks like a much better short to me, so that's where my attention is. Pound CHF had a kind of a nice sell-off on Friday. Ooh, it pushed straight back up, came back into this level and just bounced. Wow. So yeah, I'm not as focused with pound CHF really. I still think we could see a move to the downside because I'm looking at a follow through of this move, but it's not looking that great. I have to mention the fact that we had such a strong rejection off there is not a good sign for the sellers. That's all. But I'll see what we do for Aussie CHF. Hopefully that will be a bit cleaner. But anyway, guys, we have come to the end of the stream. I will be live again tomorrow, the day after that, the day after that, and the day after that. Every weekday this week, Tuesday, from Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, feel free to pop in, say hi, discuss some charts, and have a good time and learn at the same time as well. So make sure you tune in if you can do. If you have enjoyed the stream, guys, please be sure to drop a like on your way out. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well so you don't miss out on any uploads. Of course, make sure you hit the bell so you really don't miss out on any uploads because, of course, you will be notified. But guys, have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next one.